in?
We're in, dude. We're on.
We're in.
We're zooming. What's up? Okay, this is we're having fun. It's Saturday night. We've been cooped up for 2 weeks with the quarantine, with the COVID, with all the stuff. And this is my buddy Rob.
Hey.
What's up? Get on the camera, Rob.
Oh, there we are. Okay.
Oh, there he is.
It sees me.
So what we're doing is Rob is putting a mix room in his house.
Yes.
And we need to build some stuff. We got to build some some acoustic treatment. So that's what we're doing. That's what this episode is going to be all about, because chances are, if you're a Capsule Cone viewer, you probably also have a mix room in your house. So we've got some stuff. Yep. I'm going to turn the camera around. Here's the recipe. This is what we're doing. We've got some burlap from the wall. I might have to borrow some off of you for that gobo. We get done with your panels. I might have to borrow some off of you for that gobo.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that gobo's kind of rough. Huh?
Anyways, that's not what we're here for tonight. So we've got some rock wool. We just got this at Lowe's. We're just trying to get a little bit of damping in your room, because it's basically just
wide open.
Yeah, just wide open.
Wide open.
Half open, just wide open.
Hard floors.
Hard floors. So we've got some, what are these? These are 1x4s?
Yeah.
Right here?
Yep.
All right, we got some 1x4s. And then what are the 1x6s gonna be for? What else are we building?
Cloud.
Okay, so we're gonna do a ceiling cloud. So we're gonna do some...
we're gonna do a ceiling cloud.
We're gonna do some first reflection stuff. We're gonna do ceiling cloud. We're gonna make some frames. We're gonna stuff them, and then we're gonna burlap them. So
yep,
we'll get some footage of us constructing everything step by step along the way, and then probably maybe we can visit L apartment and
absolutely,
and see what it looks like, finished product.
Welcome to come.
All right, let's do that. So we got the cloud built. Rob's behind me back there, putting the eye bolts in. We got to take this to his house, and we've got to install it, fly it above the desk. We ended up going with a double layer of the batting, which you saw us put together, and then we put boards on the back and on the front to cover over the seams. All in all, Rob, what did this cost you? About 150 bucks? All the materials? Yeah, so he's got less than $150 in all of the material, and we still have quite a bit of material left, which is, there's a whole pack that we haven't opened yet, and there's probably, there was 12 bats in the pack that we did open, and we used 8, so we got 4 bats left in that, And the plan right now is that we're gonna frame out, there's one corner that needs a corner trap in it that's really close to the desk. And so we're gonna cut those into triangles, cut the bats into triangles, and just go floor to ceiling with a deep corner trap that's kind of some people call them a super chunk or a super zorber or whatever. So we're gonna do that. And then we may make a first reflection panel that also will go there just beyond the corner trap. So we've got to get this cloud transported to Rob's abode and get it installed. Hi.
Salutations.
As promised, we're in Rob's apartment, and we actually took our lav mics off and are using the little shotgun guy because I feel like it's probably going to pick up a little bit more of the room. And so we're in Rob's mix room and going to show you around a little bit and show you kind of what it looks like before we start doing all the stuff. So I'm going to flip this bad boy around. All right, so successfully flipped around here. So we've got the little mix room, the little mix desk set up, and we got the Kali monitors. And basically what we're up against here is that the whole room is wood paneling. We got a corner on that side, and we've got a corner on this side where Rob is at. So we've got to do some treatment. We got to get some things fixed up here. The cloud that we built so far is going to go right above the desk, and then first thing that we're going to do is put some corner trapping in that corner. And you've got a SonarWorks trace of the room from before, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we've got a SonarWorks trace of the room and from before, and then we'll compare that to after we add the acoustic treatment. So we're gonna go ahead and start moving some stuff. Let's get busy. All right, so we're going to wrap this up after installing the bass trap in the corner and the cloud over Rob's desk area. I think that we were really successful in helping him get something that is going to be much more manageable for mixing. And so what I had him do was take a couple of screenshots of his SonarWorks traces before and after we installed the acoustic treatment in his room. And so what I want you to get from this is that obviously it's not perfect. It's not going to be perfect. You're not going to be able to just put up some treatment in a house that's not purpose built and just have a flat frequency response across the audio spectrum. That's not going to happen. That doesn't even happen in purpose-built studios. There are always some compromises based on the shape of the room and the things that you have in the room and the materials that the room is constructed with. But we want to make sure that we put acoustic treatment in that is going to help us get a lot closer to hearing what we need to hear accurately. And then we can compensate with things like SonarWorks, because what was happening for Rob is he had so many issues in his low end and in his high end that what SonarWorks was doing wasn't really helping him that much. However, last night it was a massive difference once we finally got SonarWorks done taking the trace of the room and were able to sit down and listen to some of the stuff that he had been working on, plus some music that we were familiar with. And so what I want to do is just quickly look at the SonarWorks traces before the treatment. So this is the one that happened before we had the treatment up, and you can see that there's a huge dip that starts at 50 hertz and continues all the way up to just barely above 100 hertz, and then there's a huge spike that goes almost 10 dB up at 125 hertz. Some massive weirdness in the mid-range that again dips down, almost has some knolls at around -9, around 800 hertz. And then the high end gets really, really crazy with, again, almost a 10 dB drop that is sloped from probably 3K, looks like 3K, all the way up to about 10K, and then some weird stuff that's probably drywall or room reflections, high end, that's created from the reflections of just that wood paneling. And so now if we look at the trace after we put the treatment in, you still have a little bit of that dip that goes from 60 hertz up to 100 hertz, but it's not nearly as aggressive. It doesn't even go down -6 dB. It's closer to about 3 dB, which is probably mostly to do with the fact that his speakers are close to that back wall, and he may be able to compensate some with that if he was going to add a sub. The Cali speakers also have some dip switches on the back where you can add and boost some frequencies, but what's going to happen is if he adds some low end, then it's going to move that null forward a little bit. So SonarWorks will compensate for that. And generally, if you're within about 3 dB plus or minus before you add SonarWorks, then SonarWorks can perform a little bit better, at least in my experience. I think that works a little bit better. And so you want to take care of some of these issues. And we were able to really get most of his issues knocked out. You see that he does have a couple of humps that are created around 125 hertz and 225 hertz, but his mid-range is much more even, going up through the audio spectrum. Obviously it's still warbly, it's not a perfect room, it's just a room in his apartment, but the high end is also within 2 to 3 dB up from 1 kilohertz up to almost 12 kilohertz. So with a minimal investment, Rob told us that he spent $150 at Lowe's, that he was able to get all the treatment that we use to build both the cloud and the bass trap in the corner, that he is already hearing things much more accurately and is going to have a much better experience mixing the songs that he's working on from his home studio. So I hope this is helpful. If you guys have any questions about acoustic treatments, obviously I'm not an acoustician, just a dude that has some experience building some of this stuff and likes to tinker with it. Let's keep the conversation going down in the comments below. I'll talk to you next time.